11 years after same-sex marriage became the law of the land across the United States, the sense that this right was settled is beginning to crack. Support for same-sex marriage among Republicans has dropped by 18 percentage points since 2022, and conservative activists and lawmakers are pushing harder than ever to overturn Obergefell v. Hodges, the Supreme Court ruling that established marriage equality as a constitutional right. That's the backdrop for a guest essay in the New York Times by Matthew Vines, the author of God and the Gay Christian. Vines has personal stakes in this fight. 4 years ago, he married his husband at a Baptist church in Texas, one that had broken away from the traditionalist Southern Baptist Convention. The right that made that wedding possible, he writes, is now under genuine threat. But Vines isn't just worried about legal attacks from outside. He's concerned about something happening within the very community that marriage equality was built to protect, a shift in language and identity that he believes is quietly eroding the foundation beneath it all. And it comes down to one word: queer. Today, queer is often used interchangeably with gay, but Vines insists the two words do not mean the same thing and that conflating them carries real consequences. The successful push for marriage equality rested on a message that was simple and powerful: being gay is not a choice, and not changeable. That argument resonated widely and helped shift public opinion over a generation, because it appealed to basic fairness. If someone cannot choose their orientation, discriminating against them for it is unjust. Queer, by contrast, carries a different meaning. Vines explains that the word is associated with a worldview that frames same-sex orientation not as an innate characteristic but as part of a broader rebellion against social norms. That reframing, he argues, undercuts the very premise that brought so many Americans on board with gay rights in the first place. Vines came out as gay in 2010, having grown up in an evangelical church in Wichita, Kansas, where homosexuality was taught as a sinful choice. Two things changed his mind. The first was a deep study of Scripture. He acknowledges that all 6 biblical references to same-sex relations are negative, but contends that the lustful and exploitative practices those passages describe differ fundamentally from same-sex marriages grounded in lifelong love and commitment. The second was the public case being made for marriage equality at the time. Advocates were highlighting faithful, enduring relationships that helped Vines see same-sex love as equally profound and compatible with a core biblical understanding of marriage as a covenant of self-giving love. His vision, as he openly admits, is not a radical one. It is rooted in tradition, fidelity, and inclusion within existing institutions, not a challenge to them. That is precisely the point. The shift toward queer, which Vines notes has coincided with a broader polarization in American society over the past 15 years, moves away from that framing. In 2009, a majority of gay men and lesbians reported negative feelings about the word queer, with only about 1 in 5 gay men viewing it positively. The debate over language may sound abstract, but Vines is arguing it carries real political and legal stakes. If the public comes to associate gay identity with rejecting social norms rather than seeking equal participation in them, the coalition that made marriage equality possible becomes much harder to hold together at exactly the moment when it needs to hold most.